The premise of the movie is set in an advanced futuristic world. Virtual reality has become indistinguishable from the real world thanks to numerous modernized technologies. A big tech company organizes an exclusive virtual reality game, but unknown to the public, whatever happens in the game also happens in the real world, which means if the player dies in the game, he does in the real world as well. One morning, 8 civilians from New York City are called and are provided a chance to win $100,000, given that they agree to beta test a new virtual reality game. Even though the offer is random and sketchy, all 8 of them decide to take it and arrive at the given address. Upon meeting each other, they find out that they are all established gamers. The organizer of the game welcomes them through a one-way announcement to minimize the player's interaction with other humans. They are told to sign a contract before getting dressed in their armor. The players are only allowed to use each other's gaming names and keep personal interaction to a minimum. They wear motion suits before getting scanned and putting on their armor. It connects with their suit and becomes one with the player. The armor consists of 54 motion sensors that will help the players function properly in the virtual world. They are designed to let the players experience the closest possible experience to modern warfare. Everyone gets dressed immediately except for one player named Terrorist. He is hesitant because of his name, which was supposed to be ironic. He is also doubtful of the technology they're testing and thinks it might be harmful. The others ask him to go back home, but the doors to the room don't open. It turns out that the game cannot start without all players joining. Eventually, Terrorist is convinced to join the others. The armor starts and the room changes completely. The white modern interior is replaced with the rustic walls of an abandoned building. The players are shaken because it is almost like they teleported to some other place. Not just the wall, but their clothes also change into army uniforms, and their tattoos and any scarring on their body vanish. One player tries touching the beer bottles lying around, but his hand goes through them. This game sucks. Another guy opens his helmet to see where he is, and sure enough, he is still in the same room. Putting the helmet back on, he joins the other in front of the window. Outside, a chopper is fighting battles in the middle of a destroyed city. A player named Reaper is the most excited out of everyone. He has been dreaming of getting to experience this level of virtual reality every day. His excitement paints him as a fool in front of everyone, but he doesn't seem to care. That's a true gamer. As they wonder what they should do next, the army captain appears and orders them to stand close. Everyone is intimidated by the man, but then they realize he is not real. When they take their helmets off, they are back in the white room with no captain around. The players, amazed by the technology, decide to continue to explore it. They grab a gun each and test firing at the bottles. Seeing the players get irresponsible with the guns, the captain shoots a guy, showing them that their body armor is destroyed with a single hit. He warns them not to get hit a second time, and the players assume they will get eliminated if they do. The captain explains that their building has been overrun by a group of highly trained terrorists. The players' aim is to fight them and make it to the ground floor. They are each given a medikit, which will help them if they get hurt. The game starts on the 25th floor, and the players start looking around. Initially, they are excited and not so careful, but it is until a terrorist suddenly appears in front of them. Shooter quickly dodges and kills the man, revealing that he is a trained soldier. Everyone else feels relieved to have someone like him in the group. They are also a lot more careful after this. The win takes them to level 24, which has a high voltage threat involved. They get a bunch of new weapons because as the levels decrease, the dangers increase. A man named Alta gets the first kill and is thrilled to see blood on the floor. He grows more violent with each shot and kills many opponents. Reaper gets the least kills and is almost shot by a terrorist before Shooter saves him. However, in the process, Shooter gets shot and loses his armor. A girl named Taylor reveals that she came to her friend's place and wasn't supposed to be in the game. She panics and breaks into tears, while another girl named Mustang comforts her. Suddenly, the 5th member of the group, Cox, gets shot twice. He drops to the ground and cries in pain. Everyone else is confused because the suit is not supposed to make them feel pain. Even when Cox takes off his helmet, the pain won't go away. He is immediately injected with the medikit, which finally helps him with the pain. He is now sure that the game is not what they think it is. The first gunshot might not do them any harm, but the second one will definitely kill them. Some of them think that they are in a reality show, but none want to continue playing. Terrorist tries taking his helmet off before realizing that he is stuck. In a panic, Alta starts blaming Shooter for being in on the death game. Shooter, in turn, storms off to another room. What the players do not know is that the next level game has already started, which means the place is swarming with terrorists. Before Shooter knows it, he is shot in the back. Outside, the other players are also attacked, but they manage to dodge in time. Taylor tries running down to a lower level, but the game stops her because they aren't allowed to go down before they complete the previous level. Reaper thinks fast and throws a grenade at the enemy, killing them at once. When everything goes silent, silent, they return to Shooter and find him dead in the hallway. This confirms that a player's death is possible and makes everyone nervous. They have to proceed to the next level soon, but Terrorist suggests they try taking their helmets off first. A member named Da Chief warns them to stop, but Cox and Terrorist don't listen. They forcefully try taking their helmets off, which causes the virtual captain to get mad at them. He pushes Terrorist to the ground and kicks him repeatedly, commanding him to never try breaking the rules again. The group finally accepts that the only way to get out alive is by winning the game. They go down 2 more floors and reach the 20th. The challenge is to use knives at this level, because the place has had a gas leak, and any gunshot will blow the entire thing up. The first few seconds into the game, the Chief is almost killed before Alta saves him. He could do anything to survive and is the most dangerous out of all of them. Following his steps, the group does great in the next few levels. However, they also lose many medikits through the process. At one point, Mustang is left with the last kit, but both Reaper and Cox are hurt. As she deliberates who she should save, Terrorist comes to their aid and saves Cox with his last medikits. As they pass a few more levels, they stop to rest. The game is getting harder, and they are running out of medikits rapidly. Terrorist starts banging a glass wall, trying to get out of the building. He is successful to some level, but is stopped by the virtual captain. He beats up Terrorist and breaks his leg, with a bone protruding out of his leg. Terrorist is now a burden to the group. Alta suggests they leave him, but the others want to take him along. In the end, Terrorist hides under a table and asks everyone else to continue the game. He slowly loses consciousness and dies sometime later. In the next level, the group struggles the most because they are outnumbered by the terrorists. Taylor, who hasn't had a single kill, hides in a room the entire time the others fight, but by the end of the level, she kills a man and gets ready to kill some more. When they complete the level, the group decides to rest for a while. As they chat about their lives outside of the game, Cox realizes that all of them have no close family or friends. Reaper only has a grandmother who has Alzheimer's. Mustang's family lives abroad. The Chief is an orphan. Taylor wasn't even supposed to be here, and Alta is divorced. If any of them die and never return home, no one would care. They are all true gamers. This might mean that the organizer of the game selected them, hoping to see them die. The information fuels their anger, getting them ready for the next round. Upon reaching the next level, they find the captain beating up an enemy prisoner. He reveals that there is a bomb wired through the foundation of the building, and only the prisoner knows the code to turn it off. Their next task is to get the code out of the prisoner. The task is easier than the rest, hence the group gets to work immediately. The Chief pushes buttons that electrocute the prisoner. When he is at his lowest, he whispers that the code is Pushkin. As soon as Reaper puts the code in, the lights go off. When they turn back on, a voice warns them that the explosive has been triggered, and in the next 30 minutes, the entire building will blow up. Alta panics and starts blaming Reaper for putting in the wrong code. The only way to stop the explosion is by shutting it down manually when they reach the parking lot, which means they only have 30 minutes to go down the next 9 floors. Taylor kills the man who gave them the wrong password before asking everyone to hurry up. Suddenly, Alta loses his mind and starts hitting Reaper out of frustration. He only stops when the captain gives them an advantage by opening up the elevator for them. It stops on the 5th floor, but closes before Alta and Reaper can get out. They are nervous at first, but realize that the elevator is taking them further down. They eventually get off on the 3rd floor when only 25 minutes are left before detonation. Reaper suggests they wait until others make it downstairs. However, Alta is against the idea. He points a gun at Reaper, using him as a human shield to get to the other side of the room. At this point, he just wants to get out alive and doesn't care if he has to kill his teammates for it. They soon come across an enemy, and Reaper runs out of ammo. At last, he is shot and killed, while Alta runs away from behind him. In hiding, he cannot help but cry at the person he is turning into, but it doesn't end his will to live. Soon, the others arrive, having completed the upper 2 levels. They find Reaper's body, but have no clue that his death was Alta's fault. They get in position before killing the rest of the 3rd floor enemies. Taylor goes into the medical room to look for more medikits and finds one. However, Alta arrives there at the same time and tries to take it from her. When the two get into a fight, he kills Taylor and walks away without feeling an ounce of regret. Minutes later, Cox runs into Alta and comforts him, thinking that he feels bad about his friend's death. But then he finds Taylor's dead body and Alta's name written on the wall with her blood. Upon finding out that he is the killer, Cox attacks the guy and the two get into a fight. At one point, Cox hits Alta with a fire extinguisher, which makes the captain believe that Alta is trying to take his helmet off. Because they had already been warned, Alta is attacked and strangled to death as punishments. Now only Cox, Mustang, and the Chief are left out of all 8 players. They gear up and run down to the 1st floor, finally reaching the parking lot. It is filled with enemies who fire at them repeatedly. As the group bravely moves forward, Cox is shot. He has a medikit to save himself, but before he uses loses it, he sees Mustang being shot as well. Cox doesn't even think before using the last kit on her and dying himself in her place. With only seconds left before the explosive goes off, the chief runs towards it and shuts it down at the last second. The helmets stop working, and the two are transported back to the White Room. The chief is suddenly surrounded by a group of soldiers, but doesn't seem surprised. This is when we find out that he is the organizer of the game, who plays with people's lives for fun. Before Mustang can react, she is sedated and taken away. We see the data about the dead players being permanently deleted to get rid of the evidence of their death. The scene changes to the actual parking lot of the building. Mustang lies unconscious as the dead bodies of her friends are put in body bags to be disposed of. When she wakes up, the chief stands in front of her with a bag full of prize money. He wants her to forget about what happened and enjoy life as he does. All she has to do is promise to keep everything a secret, and she will be sedated again and taken home. Surprisingly enough, Mustang agrees and wishes him goodbye. A man then comes to sedate her again, but Mustang takes him by surprise and fights back. She eventually overpowers him and shoots out the lights, making the place pitch black. Taking advantage of the darkness, she kills all of the chief's men, leaving him with no backup. In a final showdown, she throws the bag at the chief, not wanting to use the money that caused so many deaths. At last, she walks out of the building, being the only person who makes it out alive from the game. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.